one. All right.
Okay, I am Ron Hines the third at Sim Race, and I'm gonna show you how to take turns and everything at New Smyrna Speedway. I'm gonna show you how to take the turns and give you little tips on setups, where to get some free setups, and everything like that. Because everybody wants setups, right? I'm gonna let you on places where you can go buy some as well. Places such as MLS, which is Moonlight Speed, or EPI, which is, I think, Elite Performance Incorporated. You can go to one of those two. I do recommend their season passes, and I do hope that they come out with season passes for spotters, crew chiefs, and set builders, which would be cool because people can then get a season pass to learn how to build sets or be a spotter or crew chief, which would be pretty amazing. Now, now as it stands, they don't have any of those three on their site for season passes, but you can still pay so much money per hour, I think it is, on their site. Once again, just check out Elite Performance Incorporated. Check out MLS for setups. And if you want free setups, you can check out Edwards Racing Setups, which I do run. And I'm going to show you the ones that I run. These three right here are all Edwards Racing Setups. I believe the guy that makes these is Austin Edwards. Don't quote me. I could be wrong. I think it's Austin. But yeah, they got a Discord. Just head over to their Discord, Edwards Racing Setups Discord, and they have all types of free setups for everybody in the community. So I'm not gonna pick qualify because qualify is for fast time. So I'm gonna pick the race. So now that we picked it, should show up in the upper right there. 22S4, which I think that means 22.4 second time. I think that's what that is. I've seen people in the low 20s. Some people getting into the 19s. But I don't know if that's 22S4. But I know I do pretty good with the setup. I do 21 low or 21 fours, sometimes 21 threes with this set. But I'm going to show you how to go around this track with this setup from Edwards. I know this week's almost over. So by the time I'm done here, or by the time you see this video, or if anyone sees this video, this week's going to probably be over. So this will be a good learning video if you want to race on New Smyrna in general, if you're in a league, because a lot of people do race leagues, and this is for legends, but some people do the regular racing, like the C license racing. That's what this is, C license. So if you're running C license, you're going to be running this. So let's get on track. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on track. I'm going to let off the throttle and let the car roll through the turns. So once again, you're going to let the car roll through the turns. And if you need to tap the brake, you just tap the brake. You're going to listen for the car and look at what I'm doing, how I'm driving, and listen to the car and how it's, how I take the turns. Listen for brakes being applied, whatnot. Watch the lower left there, just to see if the brakes applied. See how the brakes applied now. Now it's not. Now it's fully applied. Once again, I'm running a full automatic, and because I don't have a shifter or the 3 pedal set, or a pedal set with a clutch, or I should say. I don't have the pedal set with a clutch or a shifter. So I have to first buy the pedal set and then the shifter. It's going to cost me almost $300 for the shifter, and then another $300 again for the pedal set. But nonetheless, you can still sim race with automatic. I don't know if there's any rules in real life, but I can still race with an automatic and be all right. So let's get on the track right now. Listen for the car, watch what I do in the lower left. I'll do a few laps and then we'll come back and we'll talk. Okay, so you seen what I was doing there. Okay, let's start off with the first lap. I'm going to explain why I spun out. Coming up, you just let off the gas here, let her... Okay, right there. We're going to go back a bit. Yep, we're just going to go back here a bit. As I'm entering the turn, what happened was when I entered the turn too hot and I applied too much brake. So I entered in too hot and applied too much brake. So let's you can see the braking right there. See, I tried to slow it down right here. Too soon. You know, you tap the brakes. So I applied too much brake. Which in fact I spun. I recovered though. Kept going. Now right here, too much throttle. No, throttle was pushed down too soon. Which left me to spin on the exit. Now if you watch when I throttle, because you gotta let the car roll through the turn. My issue when it coming around is I throttle too soon. Now watch. Throttling's on right now. It shouldn't be on. The throttle shouldn't be on till just before that line. See, I had the throttle on way too soon. See, I had the throttle on. I had the throttle on all the way around here. See this turn here? You're supposed to let off on this turn. This one, I usually let off on that line. See, I usually come down and around here. I'll show you where I let the car coast. Usually, I let off on that line back there. This line here, just before this line, I let off, like maybe right about a little bit closer, maybe right about there. I let off, let the car coast. If I have to tap the brake, you tap it in this zone. You tap the brake in this zone. The goal is to try and get that car as low as possible to that yellow line without going underneath it. boom, boom. And then the other car coasts, and then right around here, you're back on the gas slowly. But my problem is I'm on the gas fully. See, I was on the gas too soon. See? The gas is on right about here. No, the gas is supposed to be on right about into the green. It's when you slowly push the gas on. Coming out too much, throttle, spun the car. So let's go to lap 9 and I'll show you a perfect lap. Okay, this is lap 9 right here. Watch how I take the turn. I let off. We're going to listen to the car, watch my inputs. Perfect inputs you're going to see here. Car coast. You coast around. You're back on that one line. Boom, boom. You're full throttle all the way around. You're going to let off. Then you're back on full again. You let off here, just there. You let the car coast. Back on again. And you're going around. And that's how you take turns at New Smyrna. Now, once you get the hang of taking turns at New Smyrna, you let off there, you let the car coast, and you go around, you're back on. Then it becomes, after you get the hang of that, once you get that in your head, and you know, you let off on the line, you back on, you know, let off on the line, back on the line to line. See? Let off on the line, back on the line. Once you start learning line to line on this track, you know, once you start learning that, it's about timing your throttle and brake. Now I'm going to go slow on the track. And I'll show you where I do all my throttle. This is just me. I don't know how other drivers drive, but so I let off just before that line. I try and hug this as much as I can, and I'm back on now. And then I let off here. You're trying to get on it as soon as you can without spinning. And you let off there. You let the car coast. You're back on it again. Then you let off. You're back into the turn, just like that. You let off just before that line. You come around. You punch it, let you like that. You let off. You're back on it. Remember, the sooner you're on the throttle, the faster you're gonna go on this track. If you need to tap the brake, because you wanna, you know, be Mad Max, sure, tap the brake a little bit, but make sure you're on that throttle to get your speed. So if you want to tap that brake, you can. Then you're back on the throttle. as fast as you can. So the sooner the throttle, the sooner you're on the throttle, the faster you're gonna go. So and just practice, you know, practice your, be careful going underneath that yellow line or you'll spin it. But just practice, you know what I mean? You know, practice will help you be consistent. It's better to be consistent than it is to be Speedy Gonzalez. Speed's good, yeah, but if you can be more consistent, then you'll have better races with less I-rating loss. That's how I look at it. And being consistent means less racks, more race. But when you start running open class, sets matter. But that's why I say start off with Edwards Racing setups. They're free. They're not gonna, you know, break your wallet. And then you can decide later on if you want to pay for MLS or EPI. So once again, you know, let the car roll in, tap the brake if you need to. Back on the throttle as soon as possible. Now I'm ahead of this dude, which is my shadow, my ghost. Then you're back on the throttle as fast as you can. I beat my time there a little bit. And there you go. I'm a 20.3. 20.3. There's actually 20.1s that run here and 20.0s. But I've heard 19s on this track. But if you practice what I'm doing, you'll only get faster. Like, let it roll in. Tap the brake if you need to. Trying to get low as you can. You see that line? Trying to get low as you can to that line, and fast on the exit. You can push it on the entry, but I feel I'm getting faster on the exit. So don't push it too much on the entry, but push it on the exit. You can push it on both if you want. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. And when I mean push it on the entry, I'll show you. Pushing it on the entry, meaning this here. You know, going a bit faster, longer into the turn. So normally I stop at this line. See, you can do whatever you think's comfortable or what will get you faster. And that's pretty much all it to running new Smyrna. You just let off the throttle, brake if you need to, back on the gas, and then pretty much, well, away you go. Let off the throttle, back on the gas, cutting down close as you can on each turn. But run the race line, because it does help. I know other team YouTube channels mentioning the race line. Race line does help. Helps you get better. But the goal is to not run it. But the only way to not run it is to understand the race line. So running the race line enough to understand the track, and then you can disable it. the only way to disable it is to run the track long enough that you understand the race line to where you don't need the driving line. So once you understand the race line, you won't need the drive line. You'll just be able to pretty much race. But anyhow, that's how you take turns at New Smyrna, or at least how I take turns at New Smyrna. If you want to comment down below and let me know anything that I've missed or any other tips. But that's pretty much all how I start my lines or take my turns and everything. I know there's a few other guys that are trying to, I don't know if they're trying to transition over to Iracing, but I was in a couple games and I was talking to a guy that used to race, I believe he used to race, I don't know, was these cars? He said he used to race. And he said the car is tight, so I gave him an Edwards setup, and he said, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, loose." So I told him to check out Edwards racing setups. You know, what I like about Edwards racing setups is he doesn't swear that the setups are gonna get you anything. He makes them for free, and they're somewhat competitive. Yeah, I'd say they're competitive, and they run pretty good. You know, they are competitive and they run pretty good. I'm gonna do videos on each track. This is the first track because it's actually this week's track, so I decided just to do it. But I'm gonna do videos on how to take turns on each track, at least how I take my turns on each track. Not a pro or any means by any means or whatever. I'm not a pro. You know, I'm just a racer in iRacing. You know, I'm a racer in iRacing for fun. I paint cars. Speaking of cars, this is my car that I painted. So let's have a look at it before I sign off. And I'll explain to you what's on this car. So what's on this here is my Epilepsy Canada car. Seeing that my last name's Lyons, I'm Scottish, Irish, you know, somewhat a little bit of Viking because that's where my name comes from. It comes from the Anglo-Normans that came from the north. So I'm a bit Viking, Irish, Scottish, yada yada. So I stuck that that uh that I'm having a brain fart moment here. I stuck that design on the car. I'm gonna say design. It's a pattern from a kilt, by the way. It's like a kilt pattern, like a Highland pattern. But I stuck it on the car as the base. And then what I did was I put Epilepsy Canada on there. As you can see, it's reflective. Now, LA, what you see there, LA is Lions Auto Racing. But that's a special Lions Auto Racing. That's an Epilepsy Awareness Lions Auto Racing logo. Once again, I have epilepsy. So I race for epilepsy awareness. And my organization, or I don't know if it's organization or the research or fundraiser thing that I promote is Epilepsy Canada. They are, I guess you can say they're an organization of nonprofit, I guess, that they're fundraising money to go towards research, the research of epilepsy, or the research of a cure, or no, it's research to find a cure for epilepsy. That's what it is. Big tongue twister there. So pretty much, well, these guys are fundraising money to find a cure for epilepsy, and I'm an influencer. So once again, I have epilepsy. I've been living with it. It'd be great to find a cure for epilepsy. Something that doesn't consist of putting electronics in my brain, but because that's something I won't do. But it'd be great to find something that'll help. Once again, I stuck the Lions Auto Racing logo on there that I created, which I do have an updated one. Down here we have Affinity Photo 2 and Affinity Designer 2, which I'll be getting the full package because that's what I use to make my cars. Down there at the bottom we have Epilepsy Canada. Once again, and the numbers are custom. They're my custom font. You can get the font over at I think it's hello.marciano. Don't quote me. I think it's .com or .net, one of the two. I'd have to look it up and possibly stick it in the notes below. So once again, that's a custom font. If you want to use that font for personal use, you can download it over on a site. If you want to commercially use it, I think it's $5. So shed some money to Don Marciano. Once again, I have all rights to that font to use it how I see fit because he made it for me originally. So technically, I can use it on anything I want. Once again, thanks to Don Marciano for making me that font specifically for me. So we go to the back of the car. We have Moss on the back. Once again, Moss is my choice of anti-cheat for iRacing. If you don't know what Moss is, then just check out Moss. It's anti-cheat for games. So what it does is it runs standalone while you race the game, and it takes screenshots of the game and also logs the inputs of the game. So it'll log all your input. So if you're running a key log or whatever, it's going to detect it. Or if you're cheating, it's going to detect it. So what they would do is they would run every driver that you have in your league will run that, and then from there on send your logs. You submit your zipped, or no, you submit your folder on your desktop or wherever you have it set to record to. You zip that up and you send it to the admin of your league, and pretty much the admin will go through all of them that he thinks that are non-legit. He'll go through them all and see if they're actually cheating or not. And yes, the winner does get checked. So just like putting your car on a scale, the winner will definitely be checked to make sure he's legit. It doesn't matter if I think you're good, or I think you're cool, or you're cool with me. You get checked anyways, because we want to keep the racing legit. So there is no favorites upon my league. If I run one, there's going to be no favorites if I decide I want to run a league, because if you start having favorites and stuff, then everybody's going to want to, bypass the moss, which it's the admin's job to moderate the race. So that moss is pretty much well like, it's like when Jimmy Johnson altered his car or whatever, and he had to go to inspection. You're going to inspection now when you win. Every car goes through the inspection. And if there's a complaint in the league about a car cheating, then it gets reviewed because everybody submits their moss logs at the end of a race for that week. And remember, you only got to submit a log once a week. So if once every time once the race is underway, you basically run moss and then pretty much click Iracing and then log your game and stuff like that. You start logging. That's once the race is underway. Pretty much in practice you would start. In practice you would set it all up. Just before the race goes, in practice you get everything set up. The admin would give you enough time to set up moss and all that to get it going. And then once it's going, then the race would continue. So pretty much, those are my sponsors on my car. I got room for another one right here on the back above that LA. Right there. I got room for one there. Just don't know what's going to go there. Don't know if I'm going to put EPI there or MLS there. But I know I'm running Edwards setups for this track at least. But I don't want to veer too much off of Edwards setups because I want to help the guy better the setups. The community, I should say. I want to help the community better the setups. So that's why I run Edwards setups, because I want to help the community better them. So, but I also want to run. I want to check out some paid setups too. But I don't know what I'm going to run first. I'm thinking about EPI. I don't know. By the way, I suggest staying away from any. This is just me. You can choose what you want, but I suggest staying away from any set makers, the companies that sell sets that say that they have their ID embedded in it or it's encrypted or whatever. Stay away from those people because from what I gather from the community, there's no way to put an ID in a set or encrypt a set. From how I, gather. Just from talking to people in the community, from people at MLS or any other place, there's no way to encrypt your setup. So that's why I recommend staying away from people that say they got encryption on their set. But so far, I've looked at EPI. Looks like it's going to be worth the money from their season pass. I've looked at MLS. A lot of people run MLS sets too. So once again, those are two places where you can start off. But there is a couple others, but I'm not gonna mention them that say their sets have their ID embedded in them or whatever, encrypted in it or whatever. I'm not gonna mention them because I don't want to talk bad of certain places, because I like Iracing, I like the community. So all I can say is just steer clear of encrypted people saying their sets are encrypted. Steer clear, because saying that And you know it's not true, it's bad for business. But with all that said, this is how you race take turns at New Smyrna. If you have any comments or anything, please state below. And if you want a car painted, I'm not the best painter in the world. Let me know. I'll see if I can do something in my free time. But eventually, things will start, costing in the future because I won't be able to do it for free that, all the time. But I do have a spotter pack coming out, so look out for that. And I will link to it eventually on one of my videos, so stay tuned for that. I'm gonna definitely put a video of the spotter pack in action, so I will do that in another video. Anyhow, this is me signing out. Don't forget to subscribe.